Okay. All right. So, welcome to the VIVE podcast. This is episode number 1 of the first season. So,
With our star, Allie,
yes,
from Crown Collision in Middletown, Rhode Island.
we're in Rhode Island today, Middletown. Yeah, nice little travel. Nothing crazy. It's a little 2-hour drive. So,
Nice scenery.
yeah, it's a nice drive. It wasn't too bad. A little ice on the way here, a little traffic, but very bad winter. So we had some storms the last few weeks, a lot of snow, but we're here now.
Yeah, and I'm excited to kick off our first episode.
Yeah.
At VIVE, passion is very important to us. Being a people-driven company built off the passion of our people, it's important that we embrace that every day. You know, not just the passion that we bring into our work, but the passion that we bring into our lives outside of work. And you know, what's important to us, what makes us all special and unique, and that's what makes VIVE unique. So I'm really excited to kick off this first episode.
So we have our first guest, Allie, like we said. So why don't we start nice and simple? Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what you do here and how long you've been here?
So, thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I've worked with Crown for 5 years. Very excited about it. I do love my job. I started as a customer service rep and then got promoted to the office manager.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about how you got into collision repair in general. Like, what were you doing before?
So I worked in retail for about 10 years. I was kind of looking for a different opportunity elsewhere. So my dad worked here at the time. He was a body man. Unfortunately, he ended up getting sick. He's now on disability, but he's the one that got me into the auto body industry. Definitely daddy's girl. So I loved everything that he was doing. Like, I would ask him about his day. He would tell me, how his work day went. And I was like, perfect. That's where I want to be. I want to try that. I want a new role. So
that's nice. So collision's always interested you. You've had a family
Correct.
connection to it because it's not an easy industry to get into unless someone who's in it.
Right. I mean, there was definitely tough days. He would never lie about that, but it always interested me and be like, okay, well, this is what you did today. Like, how's the office work? So it was always, household talk at dinner time.
That's cool. I like that.
What do you think's what is your favorite part of your job right now? Like, what do you enjoy the most coming into work every day?
So 2 things. Definitely my customers. My customers are definitely number one. So if I didn't have a customer walking through that door, I wouldn't have a job. They come in very stressed out. So I try to ease that with a positive attitude, engaging with them, making sure that they leave here knowing that they're going to be taken care of. And it makes me very happy when they come to pick up and they're like, oh my God, my car looks so good. Thank you so much. And they're just excited that, I just took off all that stress and that they can leave here with a, knowledge knowing that, that stress is going to be taken care of with me.
Yeah, you kind of get like a nice adrenaline rush when they're all happy and
right.
It's infectious.
Right, because it's very stressful when they come in and they don't know what they're doing. So for me to be able to take that stress off of them and explain to them, okay, I'm going to do this for you. This is how we're going to do it. It's rewarding to me at the end of the day that they're going to be trusting in me to take care of it for them.
I think we should start talking about some stuff.
Yeah.
Get her into the passion, everything. So,
Sure. So now we're getting into the passion aspect of the episode. Tell us what you like to do outside of work. Tell us some of your interests.
So my interests,
Yes.
definitely a NASCAR fan,
Okay.
a big Chase Elliott fan, and I love tractor pulling. That is
okay.
my summertime.
really?
Yes.
So, do you go and watch, or are you actively?
So I actively drive a pulling tractor.
That is so cool.
So,
I would.
So
I mean, I've seen tractor pulling, but AJ, have you ever seen tractor pulling before?
I have not. I don't really know what that is. So how would you describe it to someone who's never heard of that?
So a tractor. So when you think of a tractor, you're thinking of like a farm tractor that's in a field or just mowing the grass. No, this is homemade. It starts with 2 frame rails.
Okay.
And then you modify it to you. So you pick your motor size, you build it to you. So there's 2 types of classes that I can race in.
Okay.
Well, pull in, I should say. There's a big tire class and there's a small tire class. This year I am in a small tire class.
Okay.
It's very competitive and it's very fun.
So what's the difference between the 2 tire classes?
So a small tire is just a small tire, and then the large tire is a bigger tire. So 2 different classes and 2 different motor sizes.
Like, what sizes are you talking about? And also, like, what's the power behind these two? Because, like, seeing it before, like,
Right.
I know the sounds, I hear it, you hear the alcohol and everything, but
So the tire size I would have to check, to be honest with you,
Okay.
because I don't want to tell you the different ratios, but that's something
That's
I
fine.
can do in
yeah.
the meantime. Motor size, a lot of people being competitive, we don't discuss motor size. So I can tell you that my tractor is a Chevy small block,
Okay.
but we don't like to tell you the size.
Or how much
because
power
of-
you're putting out.
Correct.
Okay.
Due to my competition. The big tire that I was driving was a big block blown alcohol. Yep.
So how did you get into this?
So again, I got into it with Dad. So
Okay.
growing up, my parents actually used to pull motorcycle tractors, Volkswagens. And I was just a baby sleeping in the stroller. And then when I got older, Dad actually got out of that and into truck pulling. And I was very interested in the trucks, but I was like, nah, never just super exciting. So then he went into the mini rods that we're in now. And I loved it. And I was like, can I drive it? And he's like, absolutely. And then that was it. It was just addiction after that.
How old were you when you drove your first tractor?
16.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. So I've been into it well over 10 years.
Do you remember, like, take us through the first time?
So
You
the
drove a
first
tractor.
time was very nerve-wracking. So I like to call Dad my crew chief. So I like to get a lot of knowledge from him. We like to prep before we get there. So when we get to the track, we actually unload the tractor. I walk around it. I do my weights because you have to weigh in. You have to weigh a certain size. And I put the fuel in and I'm like, okay, let's go walk the track. Because that track is going to determine your tire pressures. So tire pressure is very, very important of how you want to run when you walk that track. So it depends on a soft track or a hard track. And again, tire pressure you don't discuss with your competition.
Interesting. That's something I would never even think of, you know?
Right. It's very competitive, especially when you are actually, I shouldn't say I'm the only girl in the sport in our club. We have one other girl, but it's very, to the boys, it's intimidating when the girls come out on the track.
So you're part of a club?
I'm part of a club, the Mass Minis.
How big's the club? How many people are in there? Is it like, do you find your club like based on where you live? Like, do you have different options to find different clubs based on skill level? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so our club right now is regrouping. There's about 12 of us right now. There's about 4 tractors in my small tire class. In the big tire class that I share the tractor with my dad, there's about 6 to 7 tractors in that. And then there's another outlaw class that has about 3 tractors.
Pretty big
There
club.
is other clubs that I do attend. I built a relationship with Maine. I do compete with them. At the end of September, I'll go up there for their Cumberland Fair and Freiburg.
Oh, cool.
And I actually ran with them last year.
Nice.
Yes. It was-
Is that like the farthest you've gone, or where's the farthest you've
So-
traveled?
The farthest will be this year. I'm actually going to attend the Nationals in Keystone, so in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's so
Wow.
cool.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Oh, that's awesome. And I assume you have to qualify to...
So you don't have to qualify. They do certain classes, so it's an indoor arena.
Okay.
They only have a certain amount of, classes for that. This year they opened up a small tire class for me, so I, entered, and it's, competitive, like first come, first serve pretty much, because they only allow 15 tractors. So I got in, and there's 16 of us that I'm going to pull against.
Ooh.
Yes.
Are you nervous?
I'm nervous because I've never been there before, so it's going to be a lot to be by myself without my crew chief with me.
Yeah.
But I think everything that I've learned, I'm going to take that with me and I'm going to focus and
Good. We'll be rooting for you for sure.
So when is this?
so I am going down on the 12th and we will pull on Friday, March 14th.
March 14th. Okay.
Coming up.
Can you watch it online? Is there
You
a live
can.
stream?
Yep. So there is a live stream. If you go to
Okay.
Keystone Nationals on Facebook, they have it all posted and you can watch it from there.
So we can watch you live.
You can watch me live.
There you go. That's awesome. So then if you win that, is there like another race after that? Or you just you just get bragging rights and you're pretty much just the best?
Well, yeah, so pretty much it's all bragging rights.
Okay.
So I want to say it's the top 4 tractors out of 16 that will make it into the finale.
Okay.
So fingers crossed.
I see you up there. I
Yeah,
see you
me
up there.
too. Me too.
That's so
That's where I would
exciting,
like
though.
to
We're
be.
manifesting right now.
Yes.
Wow. Well, good luck with that. That sounds very, very interesting. I can't wait to hear how you do. So,
How many races do you typically, or polls do you typically do a year?
So our season is going to start in July. Our first one will be at Westport. That's more hometown for me. So we have 8 pulls altogether in our club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a decent amount. When does
Decent
the
amount.
season end?
So our last one will be in October.
Okay.
August is very booked. It's literally a Saturday to Saturday to Saturday, like back to back.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a
So if you break-
very busy summer.
Very busy. And if you break, you need to be on it, get it fixed because there's another one the next day almost.
Have you had a lot of mechanical breakdowns or issues during polls?
I have. So last year when I first came out with this small tire, we bought it, got it delivered to us. I brought it out at Westport, good to go, and I blew my motor.
No.
Yes.
So what'd you have to do?
So luckily, I had a spare motor from my sponsor, and we took my blown motor out and put the new one in.
Oh, cool. Right there on the spot.
Right there on the spot.
Nice.
Well, not at the pull, but when we got it home and
Okay.
surfaced it. But yes, it was completed in about a week and a half
Wow.
so that we could go to our next fair.
Wow.
so all right. So I have a question. So how many tractors do you own?
So I don't own any.
Okay.
I am sponsored out, so I am just the driver.
Do you still get to like, you can still like paint it or make it look how you want, or is there special like, does it have to look a certain way if you're sponsored out by someone?
No, so the sponsors are actually some family friends. I've
Okay.
known them a very long time. They are very down to earth people. They will let you do what you want to do. So I actually kept the paint scheme on my tractor, and it has $100 bills burning. So I'm like, we're going to keep that.
It's an expensive sport.
It is very
so-
expensive, so that's why I do have sponsors. But no, every tractor does not have to be the same looking. Pretty much they'll tell us, I'll run it by them first, be like, hey, do you like this idea? And they'll tell me yes or no, but
Same
Do you,
thing with like mods.
yeah, yep.
Cool.
Do you name your tractors?
Yeah, so the tractor that I'm driving in now is called It's Only Money.
Okay.
Fitting for the burning money.
Very, very fitting, right?
That's,
And hey, when you're talking about your passions, you can't take your money with you.
Correct, right.
So might as well do something you love.
Exactly, yep.
I wouldn't even think about that though, like how expensive it must be. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's very expensive when you actually sit down and think about it and put it down on paper. So sometimes we don't like to do that. Especially the motor aspect of it. It is, very competitive and bragging rights. So it can get very, very expensive. 1 can of fuel just for my tractor is $100. And that'll last me about maybe 2 fairs if I'm lucky, depending on how many pulls I do that day.
Yeah.
So it also fluctuates with gas prices, stuff like that.
Correct, yep.
So
And
okay.
you have to run a certain fuel with it. So it has to be race fuel.
Yep.
If someone wanted to, start out in this sport, what do you think is like an estimate of what someone could be looking to spend?
So you could do a cheap version. So there's really it depends on how much you want to brag. Do
Okay.
you want to go out there and win, or do you want to go out there and have fun? To me, it's more about fun. I don't need to win and chase that ribbon to tell you I had a good day. So, I mean, you can build a tractor for $10,000 minimum,
But it's still at least.
but
like,
it's still
at
a
least
minimum of
$10,000.
10,000, especially to have a motor that's competitive and keeps up to, the normal.
Wow.
Yeah, and if that's something like you're going to work on it yourself and everything like that, that factors in versus like if you're not mechanically inclined and you've got to get other people
Correct.
to work on it for you, drop it off at a shop and then yeah, or if you're
Right.
sending things out to get machined.
Correct. Yep. It adds
That's,
up.
yeah.
So anyone looking to get into tractor pulling, you're looking at least $10,000. So start saving. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Aside from the financial commitment to getting into tractor pulling, if someone was looking to get into the sport and get their feet wet, since you did it at a young age at 16, like what would you say to the future you about getting into the sport? Piece of advice from Allie.
I think I would not beat myself up as much if I didn't do good at a pull. So if I didn't make that full pull, don't beat yourself up, because there's always a next pull to do better.
It's very good advice. Just keep pulling.
Just keep going.
So, are there any similarities between collision repair and tractor pulling?
Passion,
Okay.
achieving your goals.
Those are good ones. You ever see, the techs out in the shop working on something, and obviously, like you have to be able to work on your own tractor. You've ever been able to like connect the dots on what they're working on and stuff, and how that stuff makes sense to
Yeah,
you?
sometimes. So like definitely body work, because I
Okay.
messed up my fender. So I'm like, oh, well, how can I fix that fender by myself with that body, man? Can I just go out there and look at it and you teach me? Painting, because you want a nice paint job on it and stuff like that.
That's cool. So you're able to do some things
Yeah.
on your own, I
Yep.
should say.
I do need guidance, obviously. Dad definitely works on it, helps me, just to be 100%.
Yeah. It's cool though, with him being in body work and everything and
Right.
being able to help you with that. And now you're working in the collision industry and it's like a full circle moment.
Right. Yeah.
You mentioned that in your group that you say you're one of two women?
Correct.
I mean, what's that like? And like when you started out, were you intimidated with just being surrounded by men? Or I know you said like when you go out, you said that the men are really intimidated by you now, but like when you started out, was it the opposite?
No,
No?
no. Because I look at myself as a tomboy, not so much girly girl. So when I go out there, I want to be a little boy. Like I want you to teach me. So I think sometimes like I do come off very intimidating and very powerful. So I think that's sometimes when I come to a tractable, I'm like very hot-headed. I want to learn. I want to do good today. So I think I intimidate my competition because of my attitude when I come out on the track.
Yeah, that's good. You want to pick another question?
Sure. All right, back to me. Let's talk a little bit about culture. So, what do you love most about your role at Crown?
My customers and the second family that I've created. So working with all the guys in the shop, we've created a relationship where we're a team. I can go to them, they can come to me. I feel like when I come here, I have a second family. My customers are definitely a big part of my job. If I didn't have my customers, I wouldn't have my job. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that they can come in and they can trust me to help them. And they're relying on me.
It's cool. Do they support your tractor pulling or like do they know?
do. So some of them, I actually wear cowboy boots almost every day to work. And I get a lot of compliments on them. And that'll start the conversation. And I'll just, have a full-blown conversation with somebody I just met that got into an accident that needed my help. And I build a relationship with them. and I like to have personal conversations. So sometimes I do talk to them about, my dogs. I talk to them about tractor pulling.
That's cool. Have you ever run into any customers at any of your polls or anything?
I have. So when we actually compete at Washington County, some of my customers are very local and they actually go over there.
Oh, that's
Yes.
so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like a little Allie fan
Right,
base.
a little, right.
I love that. How about your teammates here at Crown?
Yes, so some of them do go to the local ones. We do pull at Marshfield, so some will come to the Marshfield Fair because that is a big fair. And a lot of times Westport is very local, so everybody will go to Westport.
Nice.
Yes.
That's so cool.
So you have some decorations on the table
I do.
that you want to include. You want to tell us what you got?
Yeah, so we can start with Chase Elliott. I'm actually a big Chase Elliott fan. I watch NASCAR when the season starts. Very competitive about it in the household. So Dad is a Kyle Larson fan, which I'm okay with because I do like some Kyle Larson, but I'm definitely a number 9 fan. I attend races. New Hampshire is definitely every year. And last year I actually traveled 14 hours to go to Martinsville.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oof.
It was definitely worth it because I got to meet Kyle Larson and take a selfie with him. I got to meet Chase Elliott for a second time.
Oh, that's cool.
I am a French Bulldog mom of 2.
Oh.
And my sign says I'm kind of a big deal because that's just my confidence that I have.
I love it.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about NASCAR? I mean, NASCAR. I don't know many people that actually watch NASCAR. Like, people say they like NASCAR. You hear it here and there. But like you said, you're dedicated to watching the races. Like, I don't know many people actually watch the races. Like, how have you always been a fan? Is this something?
I've always been a fan. So I would say I was just bored one day at my uncle's house, actually. My Uncle Tommy works here. I shouldn't say it was his house, my grandmother's house. We were over there, and he used to be a big Earnhardt fan. I was just bored, and I'm like, what do you have on TV? And he's like, it's racing. And I just started watching it, and I was like, oh, I'm addicted. Like, I want to go 200 miles an hour. I want to learn more about this. So, I got into it with him, and it's been a click ever since. It's every Sunday, if the race is on, I'm dedicated to racing.
That's cool. Yeah, I think our VP Steve loves NASCAR too. And
Does. Yes, he actually just went to Daytona 500, I think. Mm-hmm. Yes.
it's awesome.
Oh yeah, it just happened. That was this past weekend, right?
This past weekend. Yep.
And you watched the whole thing?
I did.
What'd you think about it?
It was a show. So super speedways are not my favorite tracks. I love short track racing. Daytona is just insane. You just don't know which lane you want to be in. Your driver's doing good. He's, first and second almost the whole race, and then he picks the top lane, and then there goes the race. And it's like, really? So, yes. I was not very happy with the Daytona 500 outcome.
That's funny. I went to the Daytona 500 as a baby. I don't remember it, but I know my dad took me to the Daytona 500 as like an infant. Probably not the best place to take an infant.
That's really loud.
It's very loud, very fast paced. I went to Talladega and I enjoyed it. It was very fast.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
as soon as they come around, they're gone.
Say
I hear
one more
Talladega,
time.
I just think of the movie.
Who did you get to meet?
So I got to meet Chase Elliott for my first time in New Hampshire
Okay.
3 years ago.
Okay.
Took a selfie with him.
What was it? And what was he like?
Quiet.
Okay.
Very just...
Not like Allie.
Not like me. Not loud, not obnoxious, nothing. At Martinsville, I got to meet him again.
Okay.
I was kind of thrown off a little bit by the attitude, but that's okay because, again, they have a busy life. I don't know what it's like to get ready for a race. It's go, go, go.
It's probably stressful. I
Very
mean, think
stressful.
about it for you when you're preparing for tractor pulling and everything. Like
Right.
there's like, tensions are running high
Right.
and stuff. So
Yep. So
when are you given the opportunity to meet the racers before a race? Are they like when do you get to see them?
So I got the pre-race ticket. So
Okay.
a pre-race ticket is to enter the track, go down to pre-race for them to introduce them to you. But at Martinsville, they did things a little different than New Hampshire. So you could actually access the track and walk everywhere. I stayed in the same spot for 4 hours because that was the best spot to stand in because of how many drivers we met. My phone had no battery left. By the time we got there to the time the race started, I had no battery because I met every single driver that I needed to meet and
Oh
get
my gosh.
autographs.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. In motocross, it's like the opposite. So you get to meet all the riders after. You get like a pit pass and you get to go down into the pit where they're working on their bikes and everything after their races. And they're all like sweaty and disgusting. And like everyone's like changing or working on their bike and stuff. And you're just like walking up to them asking for autographs and everything. Completely opposite.
How do you think, and this is an opinion question, I mean, NASCAR's ratings, is no surprise, they're not great, right? Like, what do you think NASCAR should do to get more fans involved?
They lost a lot of ratings, in my opinion only, is when they put all the cars to be similar to each other. So they took off the horsepower, like again, with tractor pulling. I don't want my motor to be the same as you because that's boring. So you're literally driving the same car setup as your competition. And I think they should get rid of the stages. They should just run a race. We should not drive or race 60 miles and then 60 laps, I should say, and then have to pit to go fuel up. I think we should get rid of the stages and just run the full 500 laps if a race of 500 laps.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I always thought it was something that the driver makes the call of like when they should refuel or like go into the pit and stuff. And like that's part of the race because like you're being strategic behind it.
Right. So the spotters and the internal, they talk about laps and fuel. So I don't think the driver really makes that call. I think his crew chief will be like, okay, listen, especially at Daytona, we can only go 40, 44 laps, then we need to pit.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I just know like I have a few friends that watch NASCAR, but not that many. And like I mean, my family never grew up watching NASCAR at all. I think I've seen a NASCAR race for the first time on TV when I was in college. And I was like,
This is boring. This isn't for me.
yeah, I could never get into it. But then of course the final few laps are interesting. And it's like, oh, I'll watch it.
Right.
But you can say that for any sport.
Right.
Right? For football, baseball, basketball, whatever. Everyone always wants to watch the end or the playoffs. No one wants to wait it out and watch the whole thing.
Right. I can honestly say I'm very dedicated to it at the fact that when Chase Elliott won his championship, my grandmother was watching it with me and I ended up crying because I was that excited and I was screaming and I was wooing and then my grandmother turns around and goes, okay, shut up, big mouth. The whole neighborhood can hear you. It's just a championship. I'm like, but you don't know what this means.
That's too funny.
That's
furious.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's not just another game. It's not just another race. Like it means something more to you.
Right. I actually have a quarter panel off of his car that I bought.
Oh, cool.
I have a championship helmet that's autographed by him. I have die-cast cars. I have a race tire off of his car that he did a burnout with.
Where do you have all these things?
So they're in my spare bedroom.
Okay.
That I have all lined up. And they're very precious to me. So nobody is allowed to touch any of them without me being around.
That's funny. What's the rest of your home decor like?
Lots of French Bulldog glitter. That's for sure. So home is just home. Comfortable, relaxing.
Nice.
Just come in, take your shoes off, relax.
Awesome.
Where do you find all this, game used merch? Like, is it an auction? Is this like an auction from NASCAR or like
eBay or?
Yeah. So the quarter panel actually came from Henrik Motorsports, right from them. And then the championship helmet came from Chase Elliott's store online.
Cool.
Same thing with the die-cast cars, right from Chase Elliott.
Nice.
So you just have to be really good at going online, finding it before it sells out.
Correct. Yeah.
And like the quarter panel, like how many of those did they sell?
So it all depends on if the car's wrecked or not. So if the car, he gets into an accident, spins out, he doesn't race, I'm assuming they just take the car apart and sell some used parts off of it.
Yeah, so it's very opportunistic.
Right.
You can't just decide, oh, hey, I'm going to go and buy a quarter panel.
Right.
Is there anything you own, like, numbered at all? Like, either, like, cards or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So what are your dogs' names? Because I'm a dog mom myself.
So my first baby is Elliot, and the new baby is Larson.
Oh,
After
Very
NASCAR.
fitting.
Very fitting.
that's cute.
How long have you had them?
So Elliot will be 2, and Larson will be 1 next month.
Cute. Tell me about their personalities, because dogs have personalities.
Correct. And I'm glad you asked me that, actually, because Elliot is an angel. He just will chill, hang out with you. And I was like, oh, I felt so bad for him. I'm like, let me get you a friend. Well, we got Larson, and Larson is actually a handful. Larson is crazy. You cannot leave him home alone. He's like a devil. So I like to tell you that Elliot is the angel and Larson is the devil.
That's too cute. Yes. When you first got Elliot, you actually brought him to the office with you for a bit and had like a little office pup.
I did, yes. So we do have that awesomeness of where the boss will allow you to bring your dog to work day. But Elliot can no longer come to work with mom.
Oh, no, why?
Due to dad. So dad likes to tease him with the power tools in the garage. So if he came to work with me, the mascot would be the handyman tool guy. Like, he will steal your tools and run around with them.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, that you kind of can't have that
here, right? They need their tools to work on the cars.
That's too funny. Just imagine little Frenchie come up and like grab an air ratchet and run off.
And then just take off with it because he gets so mad at it.
That's so funny.
Yes.
It's cute.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and find us wherever you can find your podcast to keep up with more stories, insights, and behind the scenes looking into the collision repair industry. See you in the next episode. This has been the VIVE Podcast.